Well, hello and welcome to another Faith, Philosophy and Life with me, Mr. Shelton. I do hope that you are doing well. It's a bit of a tricky one to say that on because we are doing a unit on evil and suffering, and there's many reasons why you might be watching this video, but if you're watching this due to being at home because of not being well or self-isolating, well, yeah. Is there evil in the world? That's a big question for you. Have a think about that question. Here's our cheesy intro sequence. Okay, so we're doing a unit on evil and suffering, and that's our title for today. Where does evil and suffering come from? Where does evil and suffering come from? And today we're going to explore where different worldviews think evil originates from. Please get the title written down, and as always, do pause me as we go. And as always, do send your work through to your teachers by the end of this lesson. We're a nosy bunch and would like to know what you've written. It's going to be a good outcome if you can say why evil is suffering is a problem for religious people. Great outcome if you can give 2 responses to suffering, and even better if you can see which best explains why there's evil and suffering in the world and why. During today's session then, we're going to think about what God is like, we're going to watch a media clip, we're going to do a knowledge trawl and remember this. Probably not quite in that order, but it will kind of all be in there. But to start off with then, let's think about this. Where does evil come from? What I'd like you to do is to do a little mind map for me, and I'd like you to write down as many different reasons that you can think why there is evil in the world. So let's do that now. My map, where does evil come from? And I'd like you to come up with as many different reasons why you think there might be evil in the world. So pause me now while you do that. Come back to me when you're done. Okay, so what I'm now going to do is I'm going to play a clip. I think this is from National Geographic. Now there's an off chance that this won't play due to copyright. So if that's the case, you'll either find the link in the description below to it elsewhere on YouTube, or in the description there'll be a link to my Google Drive and it will be in there for you. So you do need to watch this. What I'd like you to do is watch this. This is where does evil come from? And this is people's views from around the world. So it's really cross-cultural, and see how many things you can get added to your mind map while you watch this. So watch this and write some more ideas around your mind map as we go.
Where do I believe evil came from?
Next question.
I don't know. That's a really hard question.
Evil comes from humans and selfishness.
Evil comes from fear.
暗暗的地方来的，还有恐怖的地方。
Bierze się moim zdaniem z ludzkiej frustracji.
Ik denk dat kwaad het onderdeel van de mensheid is en dat het altijd zo zal blijven.
Mostly it comes from fear.
Isso é uma boa pergunta, porque se calhar quando passámos a ser inteligentes foi quando surgiu o mal. Porque passámos a perceber que conseguimos fazer através do mal coisas que podem nos favorecer a nós próprios.
אני חושבת שמהחינוך, מהסביבה. אני לא חושבת שהיצר האדם רע מנעוריו.
De la inclinación torcida del hombre, la mujer, hacia el mal, hacia el pecado.
无穷的欲望，然后产生邪恶。
Creo que del sufrimiento de la gente.
Evil comes from within ourselves, and also money, especially greed.
I think evil is an idea.
心理
Euforia.
从心理
Setan tak berwujud. Jadi dia ada dalam hati kita dan kita yang mengendalikannya.
Jeg tror alle sammen, vi har lidt ondt i os, som er ligesom den der mørke side, der kommer frem, når vi træder lidt ved siden af en gang.
I don't know where evil comes from. I suppose it's where good comes from.
I believe that there's opposition in all things, so I believe that when God created good, evil was also a part of that.
Czynników wpływa na to, że jest zło, natomiast moim zdaniem jest to chciwość, zawiść i taka ogólna niemoc.
It started back in the day when the devil thought that he was going to take over heaven.
E isso Deus não poderia aceitar de forma alguma. Por isso Deus expulsou ele.
And then evil began to develop on earth.
Zło pochodzi od diabła.
które nas kusi do grzechów.
Apa itu satana?
Setan itu berasal dari api.
O mal foi Deus quem criou também.
बुराई ये शैतान जो है ये दरगलाता है और बुराइयों की तरफ ले जाता है.
Fala a verdade, eu nem penso de onde é que vem essas coisas mal.
El mal viene del hombre y de su egoísmo al adquirir un conocimiento y no hacer parte de todos, no hacer parte a todos de ese conocimiento.
Julgo que terá que existir o mal para também haver certo equilíbrio com o bem.
Evil comes from misunderstanding and chaos and entropy, which are things that are rooted in the universe itself.
I don't think evil exists. I don't think there is such thing as pure evil.
А нет такого понятия, что такое зло. Есть разные точки зрения.
그리고 같은 것도 나쁜 게 있고 좋은 게 있고 같은 행동에서도 다른 결과가 나오니까 다 사람이 생각하는 대로 될 거라고 생각합니다.
I don't know if I believe that people are inherently evil.
Pochodzi z braku miłości.
Злото може би от същото място, откъдето идва Господ.
So, I'm sure you can start to imagine with this that actually a number of things was talked about in that, such as the devil. Well, if there is a God, why is suffering such a big issue? If there's a God, why is suffering such a big issue? It comes down to this idea, doesn't it, that many religions think that God is omnipotent, omniscient and omnibenevolent. Now, if he is those three things, omnipotent being all-powerful, omniscient being all-knowing, and omnibenevolent being all-loving, if God does know everything, God is powerful enough to stop it, and he loves people, why is there still evil in the world? Because surely he could stop it. So what I'd like to do is to make a note in your book about what those three words mean, and just briefly explain why is that an issue to suffering. Now, I think it's fair to say that lots of world faiths have solutions or reasons for this, and what we're going to do is we're going to look at some of the explanations that different world faiths and different religious believers have, and different worldviews have. So in this task, what I'd like you to do is to draw a little picture and do a one-sentence explanation for each thing. Also grade each idea between 1 and 5, 1 being that you don't agree with it at all, 5 is, yeah, it's alright. How well does that explain the origins of evil? And finally at the bottom, you're going to explain the bottom and one of the top thoughts that you've had and say why you've placed them where you have. So to do this, what you're going to do is you're going to access the description below. As I say, you're going to go into the Google Drive, and in the Google Drive you will find a file which is called information for tasks. It's as simple as that. And in that information for tasks, you will find lots of different things, and you'll also see the religious symbol if there's one that's specifically a religious thing. So you'll see the Hindu symbol, or just have a good read over it. It does tell you. Now, I know that Star Wars isn't a religion, but it very nearly made it onto the census because lots of people wrote they were Jedis. But let's not go there. So what I'd like you to do is to go into the description, access that, and then work through the task that I've got there. So give yourself a fair chunk of time to do this, and then come back to me when you're done. Okay, so hopefully you've got quite a lot of that done, and as you can see there was a number of tasks to complete for that. It wasn't just a case of writing those down. So make sure you've completed all those tasks, please. Assuming you have, let's continue. So we've done our knowledge draw. We're now going to do this remember this task. So here are 5 different images. What do these symbols teach about evil? Do you know what faith they belong to? And which one makes most sense to you and why? Just number it between 1 and 6 in your book and just see if you can answer those questions. Okay, let's go over those then. There you go. How many of those did you get right? Okay, so we said it'd be good if you could explain why suffering's a problem for religious people, and I think we've covered that, looking at the idea about God. Great if you can give at least 2 different responses to suffering, and hopefully you've come up with quite a few. I mean, if you could do that task, then that came up with 6. And even better if you can evaluate what you think best explains evil and suffering as to why. And so really that's where we're up to, and hopefully you did that with the 1 to 5 and then the explanation there as well. So I'm going to leave that there for the day. Thanks for your time. Take care of yourself. Stay safe. Wash your hands. God bless you. And I'll be seeing you soon.